YouTube, what's going on? Today we're going to be answering the question, should you get a ATV four-wheeler, quad, whatever you want to call it, or a side-by-side, which would be Razors, Mavericks, Talons, KRXs.
For this video, I do have two side-by-sides. They're both Razor 1000s. A good amount of work done to both of them, and they're both phenomenal. I have a Can-Am Renegade 850 XMR. I threw the XMR kit on it myself, because obviously they didn't come from the factory this year with the 850 for an XMR. And then she is a 1000 XXC.
So we're going to break down both types of machines in various different ways. First, we're going to talk about what are you looking for in a machine. Are you looking for comfort riding? Are you looking for adrenaline-packed riding? Are you looking for family type riding? Are you looking for racing? Also, what kind of riding are you going to be doing? Are you going to be doing trail riding? Are you going to be doing dunes riding? You got to acknowledge all of that as well, because it's very important. It's going to factor in a lot on the machine you're going to get. And also, if you have a family. I mean, that's one of the things is I have kids, I have two boys, and it doesn't matter how much I like four-wheelers, I'm always going to have at least one Razor. I should have a four-door Razor, but I unfortunately I do not. So, and I always need something, you know,
when we make long trips, that's one of the things with the Razors is there's a lot of room for storage on them. You can store stuff in the back of them. We always put a cooler back there.
But you can also do that with the four-wheeler. If you're looking for comfortable family riding, trail riding, you're taking week-long trips to Hatfield and McCoy's, you're definitely going to be better suited for a side-by-side, just because of all the storage and all the room there is in them, and also you're sitting in there and you're riding these trails for hours. I mean, it's just going to be it's going to be safer as well. You got to think, you have roll cages, you have harnesses, you got your kids in there. Safety is going to be a huge factor for a Razor or a Can-Am Maverick.
Now, if you're young and you know you got a lot of buddies and you guys all go riding separately and you're looking for fast, quick racing type riding,
you know, I mean, four-wheelers are the way to go. Personally, for me, I love Razors, I love side-by-sides, but four-wheelers are definitely more fun than a side-by-side. I like being able to shift my weight. I like being able to, you know, they're so fast. I mean, you can just pick up and go. And I like going through the water with them and shit. I like wheeling them. I personally love Renegades, and I mean, I've had YFZs, I've had sport quads, but four-wheeler, I like the adrenaline. I mean, that's why I ride a bike, it's jet skis. I like being able to control my weight. It makes it more involving. As far as side-by-side, when I'm in a side-by-side and I'm riding, it feels like there's just no difficulty behind what I'm doing. You're just pressing the gas and you're steering. And like I said, they're more fun. I mean, they're still great machines. It's just, I like how involved you are with a four-wheeler.
And price too is a huge factor. You got to consider price when it comes to these machines.
They're going to be almost double the price of an ATV of a four-wheeler. And that's something huge too, depending on your budget. You don't want to go a cheap route, like you really don't. Especially if you're going to be always having a passenger with you. I don't recommend you buying like a Razor 800 or Razor 900. I definitely recommend going to at least a 1000S. And there's nothing wrong with the 1000S. It's a cheaper side-by-side. It's still a 1000 and it's more narrow, so you can get through tighter trails. And as far as the aftermarket goes for four-wheelers and side-by-sides,
they're both pretty similar. I mean, you can go with different tires and wheel setups. You could do lights, any type of lights on either one of them. There's plenty of aftermarket parts out for them. I mean, you can change out pretty much everything on these machines, especially if you get some like name brand type machines. You stay in so many Sportsman's, all that. There's so many aftermarket things you can get for these machines. But if you're gonna try to mud bog with the Razors, I do recommend you switching up the tires, going to 32s. And
anyways, guys, it's really gonna come down to look at your situation, look at your financial situation. You don't want to go the cheaper route. If you gotta wait, and also look if you have a family, what type of riding are you be doing? What do your buddies ride? Because you know, if you got a whole group of buddies that ride four-wheelers, you probably stick out to get a side-by-side, but there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, I personally love riding in a pack of four-wheelers. It's fun, it's more enjoyable. It's like riding on a bike. It's like a car guy riding with a bike guy. If my buddy's got his car out, I'm not gonna take my bike out. I don't do that. I'm gonna take a car out. So you know, look at the locations you're gonna be riding at. You know, look at how much free time you have. Also, look at the loading. It is a pain to load and travel with Razors, especially two of them. With a four-wheeler, I could literally get off work, load the four-wheeler in the truck bed, and go wherever I want to go. Also, maintenance, of course, is very important on all these machines, but I will tell you, it is easier working on a four-wheeler than a RZR, depending on what you're working on. But when it comes to these engines on these RZRs, I do not work on them. I can work on anything but side-by-sides and jet skis. I can do simple stuff, but when it comes to like actual mechanical work, I can't. It's too tight of a space for me. It's kind of like working on a jet ski. I really can't. I don't like getting in there. It's too tight. I'd rather pay somebody to get in there and work on that shit. Even these Renegades, even the newer four-wheelers, they're getting harder and harder to work on. I mean, they're nothing like a YFC 450 where you can, it's so easy working on a sports quad. But these quads are a little bit more difficult, you know? Unless you're changing a belt, simple shit's easy. Oil change, belt change, but I'm talking about more sophisticated stuff. But anyways, guys, that pretty much sums up this video. I just wanted to walk you through the pros and cons of side-by-sides and four-wheelers. I myself, of course, I have both of those worlds. Maybe not the best of both worlds, but I have something in those categories. So I figured that I can give you some decent perspective on it. I personally do enjoy the four-wheelers more, but side-by-sides, there's so many pros with the side-by-sides, especially if you have a family and you go for long riding. There's some very, very important factors to look at with the side-by-sides. And there's definitely things to consider, especially long term. If you're taking a note out and you're making this payment, you want to make sure that's right for you. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. And hell yeah, brother, check out the channel, subscribe, like. We got plenty of content, plenty of videos out there, so check that out.